several people expressed an interest in this idea, and it did occur to me that I've got a bunch of old machines at home that this might help to revive, because they'll happily run a Linux operating system, but it's already getting difficult to run Windows 11 on them. And when Windows 12 comes out, there's a rumor going around that it's going to require cache. In other words, you won't be able to run Windows 12 without paying Microsoft every month for the benefit of doing it. And already there are people who have decided that they don't want to run Windows anymore, but for lots of reasons, not least of which is that, of course, it means that it keeps trying to phone home, send information home, and the European governments have started to convert their machines to Linux instead of using Windows. You know, a lot of them were using Windows for everything, and are now moving away. So anyway, I tried it the other week on this old desktop machine, and it seems to be reasonable. It's actually a little bit slow, but there are 3 versions of Linux Mint, and I started out by putting this version on, which is the most powerful one, and there is a slightly cut down one which is supposed to be a bit faster. But so this is the home screen. You'll see it does look a lot like Windows 10. There's definitely a Windows 10 feel about Mint. So this is clicking on the menu, and in the menu there's this link to Office.
Are these the things you get when you first install?
Yeah, so this is all what I've installed, basically what came with the system. So there's various apps. There's a thing called Calendar, a thing called Library, LibreOffice, LibreOffice Calc, LibreOffice Draw, LibreOffice Impress, and LibreOffice Writer. So some of these are exactly mimicking the Microsoft apps that they are able to replace. So the Calendar app, for example, looks very similar to Microsoft's or Google's Calendar. I haven't got much in here. Most of these things haven't been used very much yet. I've just had a play with them, so they don't really show much much in the way of data yet, because I've not had a great deal of time to use it, having been involved with a lot of other stuff like buying the building. So anyway, let's go and see what else we got. We got go to Office. Yeah, I'm going to show LibreOffice Calc. So LibreOffice Calc is not just a calculator; it's an Excel clone. So it's designed to do spreadsheets. It's giving me tips because it knows I'm a beginner. But if I look at recent documents, I've got a little thing here which is adding up some numbers, and it works in a very similar way. The menus are slightly different. That's the only issue. So there's a need to go through and try different menus. But here I've tried just taking a formula that I know works in Excel, and it works perfectly well in LibreOffice as well. So you know, it's adding up these numbers and coming up with a total, and it's possible to do the same with dollars and things like that. I tried to do a lookup, but it didn't seem to like that, so it might work slightly differently than the lookup in Excel. I don't know.
Can you import existing?
You can,
Excel?
yeah. It will import Excel or Word documents. Whether they all work, I don't know. I haven't tried. My plan is to try some of mine and see whether the Excel sheets work exactly the same way.
If you want something interesting, you can try some of mine.
Well, I was thinking of trying something simpler to start with. So yeah. So anyway, that's the Excel equivalent. There's a Word equivalent as well. So if we go in here, Office, LibreOffice Writer is a Word equivalent, and so you can say try. You can again import Word documents into here, and it'll work. I can make this. Let's just change the size of this. Change the font. It's got different set of fonts, so I'm not sure what it does with Word documents that are using Microsoft fonts.
You can add fonts, of course.
It will. Pardon? Yeah, you can add them, but I'm not sure whether you can add the Microsoft fonts, to be honest, because they sort of come with Word and Windows, and they don't. Maybe you can save them as font files and try and add them. I'm not sure. Anyway, there's a difference here in that the styles are down here on the right hand side by default. I don't know whether you can move them to the top. I haven't tried. The menu, as I say, once again, the menus, they're sort of similar, but probably slightly different. So it might take a little while to learn how to use. I haven't spent any time learning any of this yet.
I've used it a fair bit,
What?
and I found it was quite easy to move over.
Okay, that's good.
It was nice in a lot of ways, because it can read in PDFs and immediately
Yeah.
edit them.
Yeah.
And you can read in Word documents when they come out.
It's a save back to Word as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like LibreOffice. It's also not got the ribbons menu, which basically drives me nuts.
Yeah. So the other things it has got that comes with the Office are that the cheap version of Office that most of us are using don't have is the draw facility. So it's got this application for drawing. Haven't again. It's not something I've tried, but I'm hoping that it does similar things to what Visio does. But it's something I'll need to have a play with and see if it works or not.
And you can also put Inkscape on it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You can add a lot of apps. So one of the things I do use a lot on Windows is some of the Adobe apps, and I downloaded an app called Darktable, which is an open source equivalent to Adobe Lightroom. And again, this is not something I've used yet, but it does start up, and it looks very similar to Adobe's darkroom app. They're like Lightroom, so you can choose various different things. It gives you a little thing, and basically that's a way of saving your photos and finding the different photos and doing a certain amount of processing using raw images and adding filters to raw images. So you can set a lot of these menus. Again, they're slightly different from the Adobe menus, but if you've used Adobe Lightroom, it is very similar. So the nice thing is that because this feels like Windows, you haven't got to go over that first initial hurdle. So hopefully it will be of interest to you. If you've got an old machine and you want to try it out, I'm going to show you now what to do to try it out. So yeah, do you want to flip onto the other machine? So the first thing you need to do is go to the Linux Mint website, and the idea is on here we're going to download Linux Mint. I'm not going to install it on my laptop because I do need Windows on this one still at the moment, but what I'm going to do is show you what the install process is like if we were to do it on here, and then we're actually going to do it on John's machine here that he's brought in and kindly going to let us mess around with. So the first thing you need to do is make and install a USB stick. So I've got this one I made earlier in the Blue Peter principles. So the trick about making an install USB stick is, first of all, most machines can be made to boot off a window, off a flash drive, but you'll need to go into the BIOS to do that. I'll show you that in a little while. I would do it on here, show you what it does. But the other thing is, you need a 32 gigabit or less drive. If you go above that, a lot of machines will refuse to boot off it. So bear that in mind when you buy a USB stick for this job. Many older machines won't be able to read that just using their BIOS. They will fail to read it because they rely on drivers in Windows or drivers in the operating system you're installing to do it. But this is one I bought from Tesco's. So there's some on the shelf at Tesco's. Asda seem to have stopped doing them, but I did find that I could buy a pack of 5 different coloured ones from Amazon, and this is quite a good idea because you can put different versions of the operating system on different sticks. You know, at the moment I've got a bunch of old sticks which have got all my operating systems on, you know, different versions of Windows and different versions of other operating systems and things I've tried, and it's a bit easier if they're multicoloured. So I'm going to, what shall I do? I'll go for a pink one. So
this is a brand new USB with nothing done.
yeah, so this has got nothing done on it yet. So the first step is to go to I can't use the right mouse, that'll help. Is to go to the download page and download the latest version of Linux Mint. And the first thing it'll ask you is what version you're going to download. Now, as I said, I downloaded before the most capable version. I'm going to do that again, the Cinnamon edition. But I could do the XFCE, which is slightly more efficient, apparently. Or there's another version called Mate. I haven't really read anything much about that. So
it's kind of between the two.
is it? Okay. So let's go about downloading it to start with. So oh, you have to click on this one, Cinnamon Edition download, and hopefully it will start downloading it. Unless that doesn't work.
You've gone to the site to download it from?
It hasn't given me the choice yet.
Scroll down a bit.
Yeah,
Oh, you have to choose download now. Okay.
The UK site.
I didn't. It changed that page so fast I didn't realise it had changed. Yeah, in alphabetical order, apart from America, which is at the top. So just randomly pick one. What should I go? UK fast. I don't know if it really is fast. But anyway, it's going to put this on my machine, and the file type is called an ISO, which is the sort of format they used to use on DVDs or. So I need to find a place to put it. I've got a directory called software. I'm going to make another folder in here so I can find it. I'll call it Linux Mint. And we'll put the thing in there. So hopefully you can see in the top corner here. Very small, I'm afraid. Let's zoom in a bit. Oh, it's not zooming the whole screen, it's only zooming the... Yeah, so it's...
You need to make sure it completely downloads.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's saying it's going to take 7 minutes.
Yeah, which is about right.
Charging.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. So, I know it's 9 minutes left. It's one of those random things. Anyway, so this will download the ISO file, and then once we've downloaded the ISO file, we have to put it on this memory stick. But this memory stick has to be a special format to do it. So I'm going to use a thing called Balena Etcher, which is a bit of software you can also use to make memory cards for the Raspberry Pi. But I'm going to use that to make this.
Sure, so you can get Balena Etcher.
Well, Balena Etcher, I've already got it installed on my machine, but you can download it from this site. I don't need to do that at the moment, but it's basically downloadable, and then you can once you've installed it again, you can run that. I shall run that in a minute on this machine, or more likely Linux Mint. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What speed are those USB sticks? Is that 2 or...
well, these are actually, I think they've got black on. So does anybody remember? Yeah. So yeah, so these are not super fast. I mean, it would be good if you could get a faster one, but you find that most of the faster ones are bigger, so they won't be read by the BIOS very easily on a lot of machines. So this is why I went for USB 2 drives. So it was a conscious decision. If you can find a USB 3 drive with only 32 gigs, you'll be all right. But when I looked, they were all much bigger, and like 128 gigs, and I knew that. To be honest, I think if you put them into Balena Etcher and formatted them with that, it will probably work, because you can basically tell it this is only a it will only format it as big as it needs it. Yeah, so it might work, but I didn't want to risk it. So it's now about halfway through. Yeah, I will. So if I put that into my machine, the light comes on, and Balena Etcher. It's no. Oh yeah, here we go. So basically, Balena Etcher's not got a huge menu or anything, so it's fairly easy to use. It's basically a case of just going through this, selecting the image, which is the thing we're downloading, and then choosing which disk you're going to put it on. The thing to watch here is don't put it on the disk that's running your machine. Put it on this memory stick. So this is the key thing you have to remember. And then you hit this button that says flash, and it should do it.
So we just put the stick in, and you notice that it's telling us that that's USB drive E.
Yeah.
And if we look at it, it's got nothing on it. So
Yeah.
we know in Balena Etcher that E is
the drive. Yeah.
And why would you want to make sure that's the right drive?
Because otherwise everything will stop working.
Flatten your original machine.
Did you name it before you did?
No, Windows forces you to use single letters.
Yeah, and on top of that, the writing to it with Balena Etcher will change the name anyway.
It formats it, doesn't it?
It's like the equivalent of a low-level format.
Yeah.
And what it will actually do in this case, it will create two different partitions on that drive. One for booting up and one for running the Linux software. So what we'll actually get is a drive that we'll be able to plug into any old machine, and it will run Linux Mint from that drive. But it'll be quite slow because it's, as I said, it's a USB 2. So how's this going? It's 3/4 of the way through now. But anyway, let's just go ahead and use Balena Etcher. So as I said, select the image. So we're going to go to, on my machine, it's the C drive. It's not in Dropbox, so it's on the C drive. Software and Linux Mint, and choose that. And it's quite happy with that because it's an ISO file. It will have checked that it's an ISO file. I'm going to change the drive. In fact, it's chosen it for me, E. So that's all right. I don't need to change it. And I just hit the button that says /. And now it will start running this. It needs to run as an administrator. So I'll give it permission to do that. And it will start up and do that. So it's going through the process. It tells you that it's slashing it. It's gone to 14%. This is another bit you might want to chop off. But you can see the little light on this drive is flashing to show that it's been written to. So if you got a machine that you want to upgrade, but it's got data on it, what I'm going to do to this machine is going to destroy everything on it. So make sure you've backed up the machine to something else before you do that. You know, if like me, you're wanting to learn about Linux before you commit to it 100%, then finding an old machine, you might have one in the garage or something that still works but wouldn't run the latest version of Windows.
If you just want to run Mint for a while, you can just run it off the USB without touching the hard disk.
Yeah, you can. The other thing you can do is that the software that I was showing you that looks like Office, you can download that and run it on Windows as well. So that might be a first step. All those things, including you know that was downloads with Linux Mint or gets downloaded with Linux Mint, and the Darktable software, they're all versions that will run on Windows as well.
If you want to back up, then you should get one of a USB backup disk to back all your files up before you install.
Yeah.
In addition to what Steve said, you can actually get a machine that's broke, boots up on your Linux Mint stick, and depending on formatting, you can actually recover your files onto one of those memory devices. And then you can flatten Windows and put Mint on it and put it all back and you're all great.
Yeah. Nearly there. 97%.
Well, then it's going to do the check.
Oh, yeah.
Does the validation.
So now it goes through and it checks that what's on the memory stick is the same as what I've downloaded. Slightly faster at reading than it is at writing. Anyone got any questions that I could be answering?
What about running apps that you've got no option? I'm thinking specifically about 3D printer applications.
If there's something that needs Windows, you can install a thing called Wine, for example, which will allow you to run Windows programs. Right. Or you could put a virtual machine on the thing, which will mean you could actually run Windows on there, but in a sort of protected area. It will be slower.
Yeah.
And
Wine is an emulator, and it'll get quite a lot of Windows things. But if you want to be sure, and there's something that's a bit sort of dodgy, uses a bit of the system, then you need the emulator. But yeah, typically an emulator will run somewhere between a quarter and a tenth the speed of the host machine that it's running on.
Yes, sir. You mean a virtual machine?
Virtual machine.
Yeah.
The
emulator will be faster.
Much faster.
Yeah.
And Wine is the one that you're using.
Yeah, Wine is the one that almost everybody uses. Yeah.
How can you run Windows 10 in a virtual machine on, I think it was Linux Mint 19, so quite an older version as well. And it's running just as quick as my Windows 8 machine was flat disk.
Right. When I say 4 to 10 times slow, it's 4 to 10 times slower than the Linux running on that machine, not than Windows would run.
Yeah. So I think it's complete. Right. Now it gives me a chance to make lots of these disks if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bore you. I shall simply close this down, and I'll go into my file. Yeah, I'm just about to do that. And so I'll go in here. It seems to have unmounted it anyway. It is, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's now unreadable, isn't it, Guy? It's gone. So I'm going to unplug it, and now it's ready to make another machine. So in order to demonstrate what needs to be done, I'm going to show you the start of the process on this machine, because unfortunately John's machine won't display everything while we're doing it. So I'm going to cheat a little bit and jump between machines. So you kind of have to imagine that we're using Windows here, and we're just going to shut the machine down to start with. Now it's important to do shutdown and not restart, because what I want to do is I want the machine to read the BIOS, or to use the BIOS. And the first thing you need to do, you might need to do, is to actually force it to use the BIOS, because the BIOS we found, for example, on John's machine, was not set correctly, so that we needed to tell the BIOS, if I've got a USB stick plugged into this machine, use that first. And the way you do that is by booting the machine up and pushing one of the keys on the keyboard. Unfortunately, there isn't a standard key. On this machine, it's delete. On John's machine, you have to push Control, Function key, and F9 at the same time.
How did you find that out?
By looking it up on the internet. But it took us a while. We tried all the most common ones are F1, F12, or delete. And this one is delete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this machine on while I'm pressing the delete button. So it will come on. And I'll just keep pressing delete like this while it boots up. And it will boot. This causes it to boot up into the BIOS screen. And then in the BIOS screen...
So the BIOS is where it controls how the whole machine works. So you can come in here and tell it to do different ways of working.
No, because this is an old machine, it's got basically what's called an old style BIOS There's also newer machines with what's called a UEFI BIOS, where I could use the mouse to go around, but this hasn't got. This is an ancient machine, so I need to go to this bit that says boot, and then I need to come down here and set it to what it's going to do. And you can see that it's got different options, and I want it to. It doesn't. It's interesting. It hasn't.
So these are the things it's going to boot from. So
Because I haven't plugged this in yet, it doesn't know about it.
right.
So I might have to plug that in.
Do it again.
I don't think, and reboot it again.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'll just hit the button. Is it gonna? Yeah, it's gonna do it. So by holding the on-off switch down for long enough, it does it. It closes it down without saving it. So yeah, let's go back to the. No, it's not. Can't use the mouse. Got to use the. Go to boot. Oh, now it's got.
So that the word Ubuntu goes to the hard disk here.
Yeah.
And this thing here is the
General U disk. So that's the one I want to boot up off.
Option 1.
So
So if you change that to Ubuntu, right, it should just swap the first two around.
yeah, there we go. So now I can go to save and exit. I thought it would have saved it. Save configuration and exit.
Yes.
That's going to be yes, isn't it? Yeah, that should do it. So now it's okay. So now it's given me the choice of what to install on this machine. So I'm going to start Linux Mint 64-bit. Oh,
This menu is coming from that USB stick.
yeah. So
So you just
I'm going to go up that one.
Need to wait about a minute or two.
Pardon?
Need to wait a minute or two.
Yeah. It takes a while because
Oh, it's fast.
it's a slow memory stick. It's fast at showing the logo. Then it shows you the logo for quite a while.
Yeah.
It will be much faster than this when it's installed properly. But you just basically got to wait, and then eventually it will let me choose how the various different features I want to install. And it's not very complicated. Basically, it's going to ask me about what language I want to install the software in, and I'll choose British English, UK English, and it's going to ask me what's the other question it asks? Forgotten now.
So in this case, we don't need to set the Wi-Fi up because we're plugged into the wired network.
Yeah, it might very well ask about Wi-Fi if I had Wi-Fi in this machine. This machine doesn't even have Wi-Fi, so
Yeah.
it might ask about keyboard. But I think
Part of the language.
I think that's just part of the language thing. It assumes if you choose English, you've got an English keyboard.
No, it actually gives you the option.
Does it? I didn't see that when I tried it.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay. Still thinking about it. We've got a mouse now. So the mouse is working. So the mouse drivers are running. And now we're seeing the desktop. So once you've got it installed on your machine, it will be asking you for a password before you'd see this screen. But this has got the install button up here in the top. So I can click on this.
Still has all the Office packages on that one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You could still
So
use it like that.
I could go in here and go,
You wanna try out
if
your-
you wanted to test it, it will be slightly slower because of running it off that slow memory stick.
When you're running off the USB stick, you can't save any file you create.
Yeah, because you won't know about your other main hard disk. So I'm going to open that. As you can see, it's a little bit slow.
Do you have to clear the machine down before you install it? Or
Yeah.
It'll clear it down for you?
Yeah.
There's an option in a minute to say, do you wish to overwrite everything in the world?
And it's busy doing something. Got a little thing whizzing around.
Oh,
And then finally it comes up and it gives you the choice of the languages. Luckily it defaults to English, so you just have to click.
and then it asks you which keyboard.
And then,
Use the keyboard.
okay, is that the keyboard? Oh yeah, it is.
English UK.
Yeah, okay. So
That's the one.
I want that English. And then it gives you different. I think. So just choose English UK. And then
It lets you
continue.
know
What the others?
options are.
I don't know. Extended Windows. I don't know what that means. Is that so the Windows key will work?
Yeah.
And then it asks you whether you want the multimedia codecs. So that would be something you'd need if you want to use to watch YouTube videos.
So you should probably say yes.
So we'll say yes. And then we hit continue. And then
This is where you get the option to erase everything that's on the disk and
Yeah.
write it or to
yeah.
put it
So-
into a different partition.
So at this point, shall I say continue or yeah? Or should I not do that?
I thought you didn't want to do that.
Yeah. No, I think that this is the bit where I'm going to stop because I don't want to overwrite this machine. But I'm going to use my memory, the same memory stick now to try and install it on John's machine.
No.
Or
Probably
I'll use the one that he's got.
Didn't he leave it in a mode where?
Yeah. Okay.
it's the next
Let's
step?
do that then. Yeah.
So you need to move your HDMI there to over there. Oh, there we go.
It just takes a while.
So once if you say you want to install it on the disk and then you reboot, taking the USB stick out and you reboot on the disk, then it'll take you to this step here. Yeah. So now we can see how to complete the installation on John's machine.
Yeah.
Leave you to drive it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger so I can read it and so I can see the buttons. So, welcome, typical welcome screen. It's got some things about first steps if you want to change desktop colors, manage drivers, various things. Most of the time you can just ignore that for the time being and come back to it later. There's documentation, thing about features. If you're upgrading or you've used the previous version of Linux Mint, there's a help thing where you can get on some forums and ask questions, or a chat room, similar sort of thing. And contribute is where if you were an expert and you wanted to help upgrade Linux Mint to the next version. So I'm going to go back to welcome and hit let's go. and it will then take me through this.
Select any of these?
I don't know.
Just hit across at the top.
Maybe the codex?
Yeah, I think I don't need any of this, do I?
Okay.
You want
Multimedia codex.
You want standard codexes, multimedia.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, you're not plugged into the internet, are you?
You could put in the
Okay.
Wi-Fi. You can do a Wi-Fi if you want.
Right. Well,
If you know what
have you got the Ethernet?
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, you've got one in there.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's failing to download the codex because it's not on the internet.
So you do need a wired internet connection.
Oh,
No,
you could do it on Wi-Fi.
I did mine on Wi-Fi initially.
Right.
You just put in which where to connect it to.
Now it's added the printer.
Oh no.
So, yeah, multimedia. Let's try that again, see whether it's... Yeah, so it's downloading the multimedia codex now. So I'll say install. Oh. Then it will ask you for a password. Do you want to tell me what the password is?
ANGUS
ANGUS
24.
24. Okay.
Is it also username?
No, it's already got John A because you've already installed it, I think.
Okay.
So it's
And literally, this is loading I'll load a new software. And, typically, when you decide you want to install some new software, this is the type of process that normally happens, unless you're trying to do something really clever.
yeah, like my install of Darktable worked differently.
Right.
Because that's a separate bit of software. It's not sort of. But you could here, for example, set up the update manager so that it would look for the latest version of Linux Mint or any of the bits that have come with Linux Mint.
You should do that.
Let's do that. And it's already found some things which are out of date, so we'll select all, install updates, and then it was going to ask me for the password again.
It asks you the password if you're going to do any changes.
Yeah.
And then you're off and running.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's fairly painless. There are lots of other versions of Linux about, so if you didn't like this one, you could try another. But this one, I think, is one of the easiest for Windows users to get used to. And I would say, you might want to use this first, and then if there's some niggly things you don't like about it, then you might move later to other things.
Just a quick look at package manager's way of getting more programs.
Yeah.
What's the difference in operating systems? How do they differ?
Some of them are dramatically different. They just look, the desktop will look different. There's also a different way of installing Linux where you do everything like in the old days through a command line, and that would be very useful on a really small machine or an old machine that doesn't.
You want to run shell, as it's called,
Yeah.
which we can have access to here.
Yeah.
There's a button down here.
Which one's
the
the-
shell? Next one.
Control, something T.
Oh, that one.
So if you wanna experience what Linux was like in the 90s, there you go.
Yeah.
And you've also got there's various versions of Linux that are specialised for different things. For example, there's one that's very security conscious, so it puts a lot of passwords in, a lot of really heavy encryption to make sure that nothing gets modified by the updates or anything like that. And obviously it depends on what you want to use your box for.
Yeah. The main problem with using this command line to do everything is that the commands are completely different from the Windows ones.
No, that's an advantage.
That's a matter of opinion.
Some of us got brought up on Unix, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of us got brought up on Sigma 9, but that isn't any use to anybody anymore.
Anyway,
There's usually a software package that's the equivalent of a Windows package you can install.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
as you can
And there's
see,
usually a choice as well. Quite a lot of cases there's a choice. Even for all the Office stuff, there's a choice.
yeah, there's OpenOffice.
And most of this stuff is free.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.